over water. Odinga is preparing to hold campaign rally in the region and is posing as savior. That is what the Murang'a Governor Mwangi wa Iria says. The CS has fought off accusations that the project to pipe water to the capital was approved irregularly. Of course, that is still the main debate. Let's quick look at the Standard. And the main headline on the Standard is Raila to Murang'a leaders face truth on water project. Of course, there's also a story about Kibaki's sweet 8 billion shilling land deal in Nakuru. Of course, you can get that paper and read that story for yourself. On the Star, governors demand 2017 direct tickets. This is one very interesting headline and we'll be looking at it shortly. But let's start with this debate on the water issue in Murang'a briefly, because of course it's the main topic that everyone is talking about. In some sections they say that when Raila Odinga tells you something, you should listen. And of course we're seeing that both the Murang'a County government and the CS for water are both dismissing the opposition chief's claims that this project will have detrimental effects on a number of counties in terms of their water supply and their natural resources, namely rivers. Is it proper for such claims to be dismissed just like that? Let's start with you, Beatrice Elachi.
Well, I'd say it's not proper to dismiss. But I've always said, and I want to say today again in the morning, that as Beatrice Elachi, the politics of men have messed our country. You can't tell me now is when you've realized it is going to mess the regions. While you're telling us, as men you sat down somewhere since 1998, prepared a document, realized those are the dams and the rivers you're going to use to supply water in some years to Nairobi. In 2012 you come, you inaugurate, you start the project. You didn't really realize that. Now is when you realize. For me, that's where I get a problem with our men.
Yes.
And that is where I start saying now, this is not now saving Murang'a or anything. This is where now business goes sour for men. And you realize your 10% has not just come.
Yes.
Because that's what we do.
Okay, claims of 10% are different. Anyway, but Rose Nyamunga, of course, as the senator says, Raila Odinga was aware of this project from years back. How come isn't he just playing politics when you bring it up now, when you're just 10 months to the election date?
Yeah, let me also state very clearly that when it comes to issues of politics, let's talk politics. But when our issues are affecting us directly, or maybe in the near future, we should deal with them as so. Because if we say that this issue of the dam was known from the 90s into the 2000s, it is true it started that long time ago. But that was the big master plan, the 2030 vision, 2030. And it's a big project. I think it's about 160 billion. But the one that we are dealing with was just an item within. There were issues to be dealt with first. First and foremost, there were other issues like doing the boreholes, doing the ponds, because I believe that we should be fed from the ponds more than from the water that's already sunk inside, because we are leaving a lot of water to go. So there were issues that were preceding this one. But why we are talking about this one now, it was supposed to have been done after. I mean, it was left in abeyance. And it is also stated that the late Michuki rejected it when it was brought after the master plan was already set in place. But it was subject to a lot of rigorous investigation and impact assessment. For us to go for this particular one, after putting a lot of issues that were still pending, after a lot of investigation and interrogation, that is when it should have been done. Not that the project itself is bad, that we didn't know about it, but at the same time, when we talk of the secrecy, this project, the president has on several occasions, I think twice, he has done a State of the Nation address. This project has never been mentioned. Yes, yet it was started in 2013. Secondly, even in the cabinet, it has never featured in the cabinet briefs. And at the same time, among the achievements of the Jubilee government, it has also not featured. So if it was not, if it's not a matter of secrecy, how come in all these areas it has never featured? And most Kenyans are just coming to know about it right now. And to me, it is not a matter of politics. It's not that Raila wants to go to Murang'a. Raila can go to Murang'a. I think he has a lot to tell the Murang'a people. It's not about this. But he also stated that there are petitions. And we know very well that the senator of Murang'a and the speaker also objected to it, and now they are saying that the explanations were done and now they are happy with it. But if you look at the way it is also implemented, that is something also to look at, because you realize that they started the project, it was published in the it was published and then awarded, and then you see that the approvals are coming much later.
The licensing comes much later.
Yeah, it comes much later. So we are wondering, if it is something good and it should be done, why is it not going through the normal procedure? So those are now the questions.
Of course, there are so many issues around this project, and probably they can only be answered by experts, because of course we do hope that Parliament could take up the matter and probably probe the issue and give us a definitive answer. But in terms of politics, Vicky Selaji,
yes,
coming back to politics, and what the governor of Murang'a says, that probably Raila Odinga wants to come to Murang'a for a campaign rally, and is now positioning himself as a savior. But honestly, yes, there's some truth to that, because now probably entry into central Kenya was too difficult for Raila. Now he has an entry point.
So the entry point, you come in with an issue of 6.8 billion, then you're not a good politician. Your entry point should be what you have done for many years. People love you, you've done many things, they will welcome you. You don't need to use this, because you know very well it will not also bring you votes. I mean, let's be honest. It's just the same way as the president going to Nyanza and having an entry of anything. They always say, even that NYS you brought to Kisumu, that is not a vote. So I'll say the same. It's not a vote. But if you want, and I appreciate that if you want to go to any region in this country, you have a right, because the Constitution gives you that right. But I think it would be wrong for us to use projects or to use ways of entry is where you now bring conflict, because now you're bringing conflict that should not be there. Number two, I think it's Nairobians who should be asking themselves, as much as we are playing the politics, and the former Prime Minister was an MP in Nairobi for 20 years, where people buy water for 20 shillings a jerrycan. If you're a good politician that time, you'd be thinking, why is it my people cannot get water? What is this problem? To date, I even have a problem with the people calling me and asking me, and today this is a very good time to ask even the county government of Nairobi, why is it that people on Riara Road get water only once in a month? Once. And they have to survive on lorries doing business, buying water. So for me, I'm not playing the politics of men. I want these men to tell us, why is it that people in Nairobi are buying water? Even those who live in Riara, Keleleshwa, all those areas, people buy water. People have to call in those trucks, Fred, to buy water. Yet we are saying we have water that comes in. It can't even come in once in a week. They have to buy it once in a month. I need also the people of water services in Nairobi to tell us what's the problem, so that while we deal with Murang'a, with the issues, we can deal wholesomely with the issues that are affecting the people of Nairobi. It is unfair when they are there. They pay this water every month. They pay their taps every month. The bill will come. You will pay a bill, but you have never been serviced with water that you need. That is one. Two, I want to go back now to what my sister said, that indeed in 2013, this project started in 2012 in the Grand Coalition. It's a project in Vision 2030. It is not a secret project. It's a project, you open Vision 2030, these are part of the dams. You have the dam that is supposed to be done in Mandera. You have a dam that is supposed to be done right down in Kajuru, in their own Kisumu town. And then, if we start politics and water is life, then as women we will be losing. That's why me, as a woman today, I will not support anything these men are doing, because women are the ones who carry those jerrycans on their back.
Yes.
Women are the ones who walk 6 kilometers. That's why Ngilu, and give kudos to her, had to carry water, brown water, I remember, going with it to Europe to ask for a way of supporting people in northeastern and eastern province on water. So as women in politics, now this is our catch. This is where women will think, are we really supporting them, or we are joking with them because of politics of men?
Yes.
No, this one I'm not going to play.
Yeah, can I just add something on that? It is very important that as women we take issues of water very, very seriously, because water affects. In fact, I've been reading in the newspaper here where a woman is saying that she's dying with milk in her breast because she has gone to fetch water for a very long time. It is very important, but it's also very important that the same women and the same children are protected. So when issues of environmental issues are brought on, up, they should be looked at separately. We should not, it will not be seen to be politics.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. For me, I know Raila can get audience anywhere, anytime. And not just because of
he doesn't
the
need an entry point into central Kenya.
Pardon?
He doesn't need a specific entry
He doesn't need any entry, and he will go anywhere and he will get the audience, whether it is votes or not votes, but the audience will be there. So Raila is not using this to go to get the audience. Audience will be there. We are not talking about the votes here. Yeah, so that's number one. Number two, the issue, first of all, is that women should really, much as we want to talk about women and to talk about water, it is very important that we look at the bigger picture. And we know that the same women and the same children, they are still protected in the long run. So in my view, I have a problem with the politics. In fact, politics is destroying this country. Because if this thing in the long, now when we talk of why don't we have water in Nairobi, including myself in Lavington, I don't have water. I buy water. Why is this so? It is because of the general planning of Nairobi. Nairobi was planned many years back when the population was only 500,000. I think in the 70s when we used to come here, it was about 500,000. Now we are at about 4-point-something, almost 5 million. And yesterday it was being said that on a working day we have up to 6 million. So the Nairobi is increasing. The population is increasing. But the planning, the proper planning of Nairobi is not in tandem with the growth of population. So lack of water means that the lack of planning. There's no proper planning for Nairobi. There are so many buildings coming up, many people joining Nairobi, but we are not planning. If you look at the sewage, we have a problem. People just do most buildings you just find, most people constructing, they will do this, what you call the sewage pit. Drainage. Yes. We cannot join the national one because of the expansion. There should be proper planning and expansion on the sewage, on the roads. The proper planning for Nairobi should be put so that we have everything that we need.
To wrap up discussion on this topic, and Senator, you'll agree that of course there are legitimate concerns that have been raised by the former Prime Minister, and issues that you're raising as well with regard to the drainage system and water issue, water scarcity in Nairobi, plus the possibility of environmental degradation or the fact that the project could have detrimental effects on the environment in Murang'a and other counties, Garissa and Ukambani included. But do we therefore run a risk of dismissing all these legitimate concerns because this matter has been raised by a politician, that probably if it was raised by someone else, probably would consider it?
Well, I think nobody has decided to run away from all that, because that's why you have the institutions of NEMA. That's why you have even, and this is a process that has even gone to court. And the courts decided and gave a decision on it. And if the courts gave an okay, then NEMA comes in and gives an okay. Then I don't know why now we are back on the same issue. Because I think the best time we would have raised all those issues was when the case was in court. And the good thing is that the senator of Murang'a is a very good lawyer. For me, him being the father figure of everything, he understands more this project. Because even before he became the ambassador, he was part of the members of parliament in the beginning of the project.
And earlier, if you watched our Citizen TV news, we had the Senator Kembi Gitura actually talking about this particular project, and he said there are questions, and probably as long as in as far as the project may not benefit Murang'a County, that is where the problem
And I think where the problem comes in is Murang'a people, and because now we are in counties, are asking themselves, why are we giving Nairobi free water? Why can't we charge a penny? And I'll say it's legitimate to me, to Murang'a people, because why should they give you Dakaine? You use it freely, and there's nothing they're getting back from Nairobi County. That is now where, as politicians and as critical legislators, we need to ask ourselves that when a project is a national project that is serving beyond that county, how does a county benefit from that project? And at the same time, how do we ensure the county does not halt a project that is going to help nationally the country? Because and those are the catch-22s that we have in our laws. Those are the loopholes that we must look at as politicians now, as legislators, to help the country move forward. Because the biggest problem Murang'a has now is we have given you Dakaina, and we've gone many times. You'll hear them say, you have our water coming to Nairobi. If we could just charge them a shilling, we would make something from the county. And I know that's the problem they are facing with this same project. So also Nairobi County should be waking up and participating in the process to give Murang'a that assurance that we are taking water from your county, but this is the benefits we are going to push. And I think they need to work together. If we do that, you will hear Murang'a getting now that assurance that indeed we can work in harmony and help the county of Nairobi.
It's definitely a conversation that will continue.
Yeah, it will continue, Fred. But the other thing we need also to ask ourselves is that as politicians, do we have do we look at our country because we are in opposition and in government? Are we trying to cut off the country to be in small segments of their counties? Because I find every time, and not just this, I saw the university, the same thing. I saw this, that when it comes in terms of protective, people forget Kenya is still a unitary state. People think, because of the conflicts we have in our politics, that Kenya now has 47 small countries in Kenya. I think it's very dangerous for the country going forward. So we have to also be very careful and very, very aware that let us not disintegrate and find ourselves with small countries and thinking we are still Kenya.
Hence my question, do we run a risk of actually dismissing all these legitimate concerns because it is Raila Odinga who brought it up, or it is Mwangi wa Iria who's defending it, and Mwangi wa Iria is ours and not on the other side? Is that where we're heading?
I think looking at things, that's like where we are heading, that we don't face our issues as they are. But every time Raila raises an issue or the opposition raises an issue, it is looked at politically. And I think this is the wrong direction that we are taking. But as an opposition and as an MP of the opposition, our responsibility is to put the government on check. And where the government, where there's credit, we always give it. And anytime there's even there's a national issue, like disaster or anything, Raila has always, the opposition, all of them, Kalonzo, Weta, all of us have always come together with the state to make sure that we give that support. But it is not our responsibility to run the country. It is our responsibility to make sure that the country is run properly and the people of Kenya are well taken care of. That is our responsibility. Now we are not governing. We are putting the government on check, and we are doing very well. I think it was given marks, we will be getting over 90% every time. We are doing very well. But I think we should be more sensitive to the issues that affect our nation and look at them positively. If I raise an issue, even in a home, if a child raises an issue, a child uses for all over. But once they raise an issue, I think we should take these things seriously. Because why were there issues? Why did Michuki say that it will be done over his dead body? Why was it? Why did he make that statement? Yet he was part and parcel of this 2030 vision. So let us not trash everything, and let us not look at everything politically. It is not wrong.
Just to say that it is not the issue of how the former Prime Minister says it. No. For me, it is one.
Is the timing?
I don't even think of the timing. I find Kenyans, we are forgetting, we decided to have a new constitution. This government of Nairobi County should be solving these problems. It is under CORD. It is not under Jubilee. It should be telling us why we don't have water in Nairobi. Yeah. So, and that is where we get it wrong. That we forget, we always look, Kenyans decided, Fred, that we are so tired with this presidency up here. But I've realized what God has continually perpetuated again, to forget that they are the ones who really pushed and said, we must have these counties because they will serve us, and forget about the top. And apparently we will never forget the top, because it always comes up, and we realize all the problems we have has to go to the top. Right now, if you ask me, water is devolved. Water is with governors. What is Governor Kidero doing for us in Nairobi? Fine, if Murang'a closes, does he have a solution? He needs to tell us. It's his responsibility. In fact, what the former Prime Minister has to do is to help his governor, to help Nairobians, and he's part of that Nairobian for many years, to tell him, now that I have brought Murang'a to close, you as our governor, you must give us water. So we'll start saying haki yetu, and Kidero has to give us haki yetu ya maji.
Yeah, but it's not, I don't think it's purely, and I mean the way she's putting it is a bit awkward, in the sense that yes, it is a responsibility of the county government to give us water, but we are just talking of this particular one that is not good for many other people. And we are not saying that we have water. We don't have enough water, that is for sure, but we need more water. But there are other options, which options are also there in the 2030 vision. So that is what she's not getting right. We are saying we need water. There's no enough water. The county government is devolved. We are not saying that we don't need the app. We need the app. And we also need this county government. So these things are good, they complement each other. Nobody's saying we don't need the president. We need the president, and we need the national aspect of it. But we also need the county governments working and working properly. We also need water. But we are saying we have other options. Why can't we catch this water? It always goes to the ocean, and the ocean doesn't need this water. So there are other options of getting water and getting it without affecting other people. So that is what we are saying.
The concern right now is about the project